Hey everybody, we're down in Hanger Bay today, and we're bringing you a few different type of appellations of Sauvignon Blanc. We have a Sancerre, a Pouilly-Fume, and also a Touraine. And what we're going to do, we're going to talk about all the differences of these and how these are also different from a lot of your Sauvignon Blancs that you're going to see in California and things like that. That way, whenever you go to buy a nice white wine, so you'll know more what you're looking for and more what you're going to get when you're purchasing that. After all, we do like to have a little bit of education down in our shop. And we did bring Miss Melissa Daly from Florida Law. So this is part of a new series we're going to do where we're going to have distributor spotlights where we bring in some experts that know a lot about the wines. They give us all this information all the time, and it's tough for us just to retain this much information. These guys and gals, they really know their stuff. So we wanted to just bring this new little excerpt so everybody can get a little bit better information and a little bit more information about products that we have here that you're not going to see in your typical grocery stores, gas stations, stuff like that. These are things that you're going to have to go to more of a wine specialty type shop to see. So just give you a little information on all these. We're going to start off with a Sancerre. We're going to pour a little bit of that for everyone. So this is a 2022 vintage Sancerre. A lot of your whites are going to be newer vintages. You don't typically want an older aged white. Usually your whites want to be drank just as fast as you can get them to you.
Yeah, within the first few years. Typically they're better when they're fresher. But you know, some will age, certainly the better made ones will, but generally within about 5 years.
Okay. This is a really good wine.
So all of these expressions are from the Loire Valley, and they're each going to be different because they're each in different parts of the valley, different soil compositions, different climate. Sancerres are typically very mineral driven, which you can absolutely get on this. Kind of described as racy. The fruit components you typically get more citrus notes on this, I think.
You do. It has a good acidity to it. One of the things I really hate is a very strong high acidity in a wine, because that just makes it where I don't want to drink very much of it. I want something that's a little bit more refreshing, and you definitely taste that with this wine. You can get the mineral drive out of it, and you can get a decent medium acidity to it, and it's really good. This would be a good one for sitting around cheese, fish, things like that.
Absolutely.
That's what you'd want to pair it with. That's where this is really going to shine. If you're having your get-togethers and want to do a pairing, that's what you would want to pair these with.
Absolutely. Sauvignon Blancs are also, particularly these styles, are good aperitifs. So they're also good. Just hey, I want to sit here and drink a bottle of white wine.
Yes.
You know, good medium body. They're not too light, so they do hold up to food very well. They're not going to get lost in
Creamy notes to it, almost like creamy on the tongue.
Yeah.
With the minerals.
Right. There's no oak aging, so everything that you get is an expression of the fruit and the terroir in which it's grown. The soil composition in this area is primarily clay and limestone, so the vines have to work hard to get down to the water, and that produces better fruit.
So as she was talking about how they finish these in stainless, some of your Sauvignon Blancs that are made over in California, Napa area, sometimes they'll oak them. These are not going to be oaked at all. They're always going to be in stainless. That is where the home of Sauvignon Blanc is this area of France. This is where it was born. So needless to say, they know what they're doing when they're making a Sauvignon Blanc. That's why you find the different expressions is the different types of soil types. That's the big difference with these. It's whether you're left bank, right bank, center, whatever. That's what's going to really change it a whole lot. All right, so we just about finished up with our Sancerre, talking about it. So we'll move over to the Pouilly-Fume and get a little pour of it and talk about how it's a little different.
Now, the Pouilly-Fume on the east side of the Loire River, Sancerre is on one side of the river, and Pouilly-Fume is on the other side. so it's just the river that separates them. But I think we're gonna find that the taste is gonna be the soil composition has more flint, which sometimes adds a bit of a smoky aroma, smoky taste to it, but still, it's going to be very similar.
Yeah, you can definitely get a lot more of that little smoky nose on the front end of it.
Well, and look at the color.
Mineral, yeah.
Right.
It's straw yellow as opposed to the Sancerre, which was almost clear.
Right. But that would almost make you think that it's finished in some type of oak or something, but it's not. It is just because of the way that the soil drives the grapes whenever they're being grown.
And peachy on the nose.
Ooh.
More stone fruit probably and less
Yeah,
citrus.
this is a little bit more fruit, a little bit bigger wine, a little bit heavier body. It feels like it's got a little bit larger mouth feel to it.
Yep. Yeah, that's the Flint
Still
too.
got,
Yep.
still got some creaminess to it from the minerals, but
Yeah.
it's just not as mineral heavy.
Yeah, it's not as racy. It's gonna be a little bit smoother.
Yeah, a little bit silkier, I guess
Right.
would be a good way to put it. It's a heavier feel, and it sits heavier on the tongue, and it's got sort of a silky, easy feel to it. It
Almost like
just
a sharpness
yeah.
too, a little bit brighter feel, taste.
it is. This is a really good one. I really like this wine.
Yeah.
That's personally I like the Pouilly-Fume a little bit better than the
Style.
Sancerre, just because I like that little bit heavier mouthfeel, that little bit bigger fruit, that low acidity to it.
Yeah.
It's just,
Oh yeah, the acidity is definitely lower. The minerality is lower. So whereas this more leans more towards an aperitif, the Pouilly-Fume is absolutely food wine. I
This
mean,
would
it's gonna pair with
definitely make it
Caesar
great.
salad,
Right.
summer salads, pastas, salads, lighter, summery kind of foods.
Yes.
It would make a lot better food wine, table wine, something you have
More
to eat with a
fruit.
meal. That's
You can have more like fresh apples and pears and that kind
Right.
of stuff with this
yeah,
one.
summer salad would go real good with that
Yes.
summer salad type stuff. I do like this though. This is I'm not typically a white wine drinker. I talk about that. I'm typically a red, but I'm trying to get my education up on the white wine so we can better serve our.
Extend his palate.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Well, and then too, I think a lot of us, particularly if we're red wine drinkers, we reserve white wines for the holidays.
Right.
Like, we have it at Thanksgiving, we have it at Christmas and New Year's. But there's nothing more refreshing than a cold, crisp white wine
Right.
when it's 90 something degrees out. And
I
we have
agree.
lots of 90+ degree days.
Yep. So as we're starting to get into our spring and summertime right now, that's why we're going over a lot of our white wines. We're also going to be expanding our white wine selection here also. That's one of the things that we're working on right now. Don't get me wrong, I think we have a great selection of wines in here right now. You're not going to find, like I said, any of this stuff at the grocery stores because it's just not there. They're going to typically have more Californias and things like that. So you're not going to find the nicer wines that you're going to get at a really decent price.
Yeah.
They're very well priced for what they are. And there's nothing over $22 here on the table right now. So this one is very good. I like it a lot better than the Sancerre. I'm excited to move
This
over
one
to
is a
Touraine.
more poolside.
Yeah.
Poolside, sitting at the lake, on the front porch. This one is so far. On to number 3.
So now Touraine, also from Loire Valley, but whereas the first two appellations were on the east side at the bottom of the river, Touraine is near the city of Tours, which is in the center part of the valley. So the climate's a little different. It has more oceanic influence. The soil's more gravel, pebbly. All those things you're going to find out. Generally with Touraine you get more grassy notes,
Yep.
which I think is, which I
Sort
get
of
here. And a bell pepper. Honeysuckle.
It
Huge.
is. The honeysuckle is really strong on the nose on this one.
It is very strong on the
It
nose.
reminds me of just being outside as a kid.
Yeah.
Just
Right.
Fresh
smell
cut
it.
grass type
Right.
smell on the nose.
And you actually sometimes find Sancerres that will present this way as well. But
This one is a little bit more like, I'm not gonna say buttery, but
Grippy,
more, yeah. It's
a little bit more biting, in a good way.
in a good way, yeah. It is very good. It's,
But yeah, and it's got, you know, green bell pepper to it, which
maybe a
is,
little green apple or something in there, maybe a hint of that.
yeah, it's more tropical fruit
Yeah,
too.
more-
You get
yeah,
more, like
more like-
honeysuckle tropical fruit.
Yeah, mango type.
Yeah.
Yep, type flavors
Yeah,
in it.
the
That's,
tropical fruits that I typically
And
don't
you're
eat.
back to
Yeah.
lighter.
Yeah.
yeah, a little bit
Yeah,
lighter
a little
color.
bit lighter.
But it's still got a good medium mouthfeel to it. It's still a good medium wine. So your Sancerre is pretty much your, to me, this one was sort of the lightest. And these had a little bit heavier mouthfeel. And this one is the biggest fruit. As far,
You can
well,
almost taste a
not
little bit of
necessarily,
salt from the salt air.
just
too.
different fruit, I guess.
Yeah,
But-
yeah, they're all very different fruit. Like this is very citrus. This is very stone fruit. This is more tropical. And you know,
Almost
the
sea
weights
salt
are different.
kinda
It does. It's got a little saltiness.
salty
It
Yeah.
to
does.
it.
I can't believe that this is only a $10 bottle of wine on the Touraine to be
Right.
that good. I mean,
Right.
that fits for your daily wine, for your daily table wine.
Right.
Something that's really good with some real good fruit flavor.
Good
It's
beach
smooth.
wine if you're
Yeah.
going to the beach.
Yeah.
Good, easy drinking. It's
Yeah,
not
'cause
heavy
It
at all.
reminds you of beach.
Yeah, and that tropicalness
Yeah, salty kind of.
would probably handle being warmer. I think a little bit more than either one of these two would.
Right.
And that's kind of a guess, but just, you know, trying to drink wine once it gets warm. But
It does have, as it's opening up, we're getting more of that tropical note. It's moving from honeysuckle more to a more tropical nose on it also. It's opening up real nice. It's really good.
yeah, these three wines that Tony picked, this is a great example of what Sauvignon Blanc can eat from essentially the same area. I mean, it's different plots of the same area. The whole area itself is only about 800 square kilometers, so it's you know, it's fairly small. And you know, these two right next to each other, just across the river, but very different. This, you know, probably not even an hour's drive away, if that, and you know, also very, very different.
This also gives everyone an idea. So if you want to have friends over, have your little wine party, you know, do some pairings, this would be a good way to open up all three of these and go sit there and educate everybody in your party on the wine and show them how it's different. And I will tell you, these are way different than any of your Napa stuff that we've seen. It's just so different.
Absolutely, because even in wineries in California that you know do say similar aging methods and vinification, you know, all stainless, don't use any oak. It's also still going to be different because it's in a different part of the world.
Different climate.
New Zealand
Yeah.
Sauvignon Blancs are also very different. That's where you get citrus, but also lots of like grapefruit notes.
Right.
You know, and there's a wine for everybody.
There is.
It's just good to know, have an idea of what you're getting
And what you want.
and what you want. And there are Sauvignon Blancs from the Loire Valley that are not one of the appellations, that are not, you know, regulated in any particular way,
Right.
just Loire Valley Sauvignon Blanc. It's also going to be good. You can pretty much assure you're going to get a good bottle of wine if you pick from that area.
So I hope everybody enjoyed this video. I hope you found it educational. Thanks, Melissa, for coming in and
Always.
doing this with us. We're going to continue this. We're going to showcase several of our wines as we go through the weeks. She'll come in and do a video. We'll continue to post it as we go so you can see some of the different things that we have and what makes our wines here different than the things that you're buying elsewhere.
Absolutely.
Thank y'all so much.
Thank you.